My boots sink into the cold pine needles as I trudge along the forest trail. The air is still, heavy with mist, and the last rays of sunlight burn off against the dark blue of the sky. We set up camp in an old clearing, where the trees feel so tall the stars barely show between their limbs. The woods are quiet as a held breath. Beside me, Nina stirs a tiny fire. Her flashlight beam flickers like an old memory in the dusk. Its warmth feels thin under the gathering dark. Each shadow beyond the light seems to twitch in the darkness. We had heard the rumors before we came to these woods. Some locals in the mountain town warned us to stay near the beaten path, to leave by dawn. "Souls get lost out there," they whispered, but we laughed nervously and pitched our tent anyway. Now that the fire crackles, our laughter is swallowed by the hush of the night. Here in the high pines, even the air feels uneasy. "Did you hear that?" Nina asks, motioning at a distant rustling. We both freeze. Only dry leaves whisper, and a lone owl calls. I stand and point my flashlight at the trail ahead. "Probably just a deer," I say, though my voice cracks. Nina nods, but I see her shoulders tighten. There's an old story about this place. Hikers who vanish without a trace, voices calling their names on the wind. These are just stories to scare tourists, right? Moonlight filters through black boughs overhead. Nina yawns and crawls into our tent, pulling the zipper closed. I sit alone by the dying embers. All at once, the forest is impossibly quiet. No birds or crickets, nothing but my own racing pulse in my ears. My heart thumps loudly. Fear tastes sharp in my throat. And then, faint as a breeze through the pines, I hear it, the sharp, urgent whisper of my name. "Nina?" I whisper, standing. The fire's glow throws my shadow along the trees. "Nina, come back." The whispering comes again, closer. A small part of me knows it's impossible for her to already be on the trail. I rush to the tent. It's empty. The sleeping bags rattle as if a ghost breathes on them. Nina is gone. The fire has died to glowing embers, and only the trees whisper among themselves. Panicked, I call her name, my voice slicing the night air. The trees creak as if in pain. The wind turns so cold it fogs my breath. I realize I'm trembling. There's no reply, but far down the trail, I hear footsteps among the dead. Leaves Nina's footsteps calling my name, then suddenly stopping. My heartbeat echoes in the woods. Only a faint rustling remains, and then nothing. Grabbing my flashlight, I stumble off the path into the darkness beyond the trees. My beam cuts through swirling mist, and every shape in the thicket becomes a mocking false face. Every moment stretches. Fear feels tangible. I almost fall into a stream when the light catches something on a broken branch. Her jacket draped on the moss. Cold water splashes at my side as I stumble. "Nina!" I shout into the black. A hollow whisper answers again. "Alex. Alex." My own name on the wind, chilling me. The ground around me goes completely still, as if even the earth is listening. "Stop playing," I scream. There's no one to answer, only the silent trunks of ancient pines staring like hollow eyes. Something moves behind me, a shadow darting between the trees at the edge of the light. I spin and point the flashlight. The beam falls on nothing but rough tree bark. I turn in circles, listening to the darkness. My heart beats wildly, but I keep walking toward where Nina's footsteps stopped. Finally, deeper in the woods, I find the abandoned campsite. The ash from our fire is cold and trampled flat. The backpack sits untouched outside the tent. No sign of Nina, not even a footprint in the packed earth. Something inside me knows I should feel relief, maybe thinking she decided to walk back on her own or find help. But instead, there's only the terrified certainty that no one is safe here. As I step further, the forest suddenly thins into a small clearing where moonlight shines bright on a lone pine stump carved in a way that stuns me. Deep symbols cross-hatched like eyes and mouths cover its wood, as if a savage totem. Beneath the totem, in the dirt, lies a single, perfect handprint, small and pale pressed deeply into the soil. Nina's hand, or something pretending to be it. I step forward, and the ground around the stump begins to whisper. My name. Nina's name. The whisper comes from every side at once, soft but urgent. Alex. Nina. I fall back as the flashlight rings out into the sky. It swings back and catches a figure slipping behind a tree, melting into the darkness. I run, the word on my lips dying as I bolt through the black forest, stumbling over roots, lungs burning. In my mind, Nina's face, pale and terrified, flashes with each step. Suddenly, my ankle catches on a root. I hit the dirt hard. The flashlight skitters away. In the silence that follows, a whisper creeps into my ear. Ice against my skin. Nina's voice, trembling. "Help me." I scream her name, but the figure is gone. Only moonlit pines surround me. For a moment, I think I hear Nina crying for help far ahead, through a stone tunnel of night, but the forest swallows her voice, and all that remains is the echo of her plea. Dawn is still hours away, and the distant howling of the wind has fallen silent. I know I should run toward whatever light might come, but my legs lock with fear. Behind me, the pines rustle as if closing in, and I realize I have become the lost one. The name Nina whispers once more, a luring lullaby. I curl into the roots of an ancient tree near me. Whatever waits in these woods won't stop haunting until the echo is whole again. I don't dare move as the first stars blink out one by one. Salt wind stings my eyes as I step onto the rocky shore, the lighthouse rising behind me like a pale giant in fog. Midnight is settling, and the clouds hang low and heavy. I'm alone, but for the thunder of waves and the mournful cry of a distant gull. Out here on Crag Point, the only light still burning is the faint glow of the quarter moon on cold steel. The lighthouse has stood dark for decades, ever since that long-ago storm that swallowed the crew of the Bertha Ann. I press forward, the uneven stone path slick with salt. My knuckles rap against the door frame. It creaks as I shove it open. The smell of rust and salt fills my nose as I step inside. The lantern light in my hand casts long shadows on peeling walls. Lanterns hang empty on the wall, and a wooden counter is strewn with sand and moth-eaten charts. The lamp that was meant to house the wick above is only a rusty shell. I cough as dust blooms in the air, then breathe steady. The place has been abandoned for decades, but I have to be sure. The old logbook should still be here if there was one. Midway up the stairs, I spot it, a leather-bound logbook lying on a stool beneath a broken window. Its pages are yellowed with age. I flip it open with the lantern's light and read the slanted handwriting. The 15th of December, 1911. Storm raging. Engine sputtered twice. Keepers are uneasy. The light went out at 2 a.m. No beacon in the darkness, but the cries of wind and waves. Strange flicker in the lens at 2:17. We hear her voice. My skin crawls. Who is her? 2:17 a.m. looms on the non-existent clock of the logbook. The writing trails off in an angry scribble. I wonder what happened to make them so frightened. The rest of the log is soaked through. I drop it on the steps and continue upward. At the top, I enter the lamp room. It's empty aside from the glass lantern, cracked by storms, which still hangs in its iron cage. The beacon stand is covered in bird droppings, and vines crawl through broken panes. The fog outside presses at the glass like hands. The silence is absolute. My flashlight beam scans the room, and for a moment, I think I see a figure in the far corner, but it vanishes the instant I blink. Just a trick of light and shadow, I tell myself, though my heart is hammering in the sudden quiet. A sudden crack of thunder shakes the tower, and the window rattles. I jump back. The lantern stand trembles as if caught in a storm that isn't there. The glass twists and cracks, and an otherworldly light burns blue-white at its center. Shapes swirl inside the lamp, a ghostly ship tossing on phantom waves. My lantern is snuffed out. As I fumble to relight it, I hear it. A woman's whispered, "Help me," curling through the air like a siren. Her voice. My jaw goes dry. "Who are you?" I manage, voice quivering against the roar of the wind. Only silence answers, except for that trembling plea, repeated again. "Help me." Heart pounding, I back away toward the staircase, but the steps groan beneath my weight. Somewhere at the base of the tower, there's a thump, a footfall, something descending. It's slow and deliberate. I shine my lantern in the empty space below, seeing only dust motes swirling in the beam. The thump moves across wood floors. My legs shake. "Hello?" I call into the darkness. The sound echoes hollow back at me. Another thump. Here come footsteps. At a crawl, I climb down the stairs, every breath a sharp knife in my lungs. Reaching the bottom, I realize something is terribly wrong. The front door has swung open on its own. The wind howls through the corridor as if the whole tower is breathing. Lantern in hand, I step into the entrance hall, where long strands of fishing net hang like curtains. The net shifts in the gale, and in its tangled threads, I think I catch a glimpse of movement. My skin prickles. I freeze. The lantern tilts in my hand, painting dancing shadows on the walls. The air smells of salt and old smoke, but there is another scent too, something coppery, like spilled blood. I bolt for the door. It sticks, then groans open. Outside, the storm lets loose. Sheets of rain whip the rocks, and a cold wind bites at my face. There's nowhere to go but down the path and out. Step off the threshold, a voice stops me dead. Return the light. It's male, deep, and desperate. The hairs on my neck stand up. The path is empty. The lighthouse behind me groans with each gust of wind. I have to get away. I run through the dark night without looking back. By morning, the storm has passed. Dawn breaks over a calm sea. I stand at the edge of the cliff, watching gulls circle the waves, but I know I will never return to Sentinel. The memory of that midnight plea lingers. Help me, return the light. Whatever dwells here under the broken lens is beyond my understanding. I leave Crag Point behind, haunted by the light that will never shine again.
Can you hear us? We are waiting.
My phone rings at 3:16 a.m. I snatch it from the nightstand with bleary eyes. The caller ID reads exactly my own number. Hello? I whisper into the darkness. A hissing static crackles back, then a faint voice. It's on the road. It's coming fast. The line goes dead. I sit up, heart pounding. The bedroom is cold and dark. Outside, rain patters on the roof. I shake my head. Must be a wrong number or prank, I tell myself. Still, sleep will not come. Later that morning, bleary-eyed, I catch the early news on TV. My breath catches a tanker crash on the highway, just as described. On the road, coming fast, fuel exploding. My stomach twists with dread. What was I thinking? I whisper to the empty room. Did I really hear that, or imagine it? Maybe it's nothing. Still, I replay the details in my mind, unable to shake the memory of the voice. That night, at precisely 3:16 a.m., again, the phone rings. Caller ID, my number. I answer quickly, hands shaking. Only static, then a whisper so clear I feel a chill. She's here. I bolt upright. Dave, my husband, stirs beside me. I tell him in a hushed voice. There's a voice on the phone, saying she's here. He frowns, sighs. It's just static, Annie. No one's there. He buries his head in the pillow. I know he thinks I'm imagining things, but I can't ignore it. After he falls back asleep, I lie awake, listening to the ticking clock, heart thumping hard. Days pass in a fog. I try to go on, but at exactly 3:16 a.m. each night, my phone buzzes again. This time the crackle is a voice. Down in the basement, my stomach flips, my hands shake. Our basement is dark and cluttered with old boxes and toys. I muster courage and head downstairs, flashlight in hand, dread coiling in my chest. The voice said basement, but I find nothing, just shadows and dust. When I return upstairs, Dave is gone. A note on the counter reads, I can't do this. I'm sorry. He didn't even say goodbye. Panic coils in me, and I choke back a sob. The rest of the day, I sit on the couch, staring at the phone, too afraid to move or call anyone. Alone now, the calls continue. Sometimes it's just static, other times fragments of a message. I shout into the void. Who is this? Stop! There's no answer. I unplug the phone at night and pull the covers over my ears. Coffee becomes my lifeblood, and my eyes burn from sleeplessness. My friends have stopped calling some whisper. I'm losing it. Days blend together. I talk to myself or to the picture of my grandmother on the wall. Late nights, I wander like a ghost through my apartment, too scared to stay in one place. One restless night, I tune my old shortwave radio. Static fills the room until, faintly, a melody emerges, the lullaby of the dead. Goosebumps crawl up my arms. My grandmother used to hum that tune. It was her favorite lullaby. In the crackle of static, a whisper sings, "Remember me." My heart thumps loudly. I clutch the radio and press my ear against it, hungering to understand. Suddenly, the small music box for my grandma tucked on the shelf springs open on its own, playing the same melody. I stagger back into a chair, mind swirling, as the room spins around me. Nights blur into dawn. The lullaby repeats on the radio, louder each time. Desperate, I dialed the police on those early mornings. They sent an officer. But when he saw only a quiet house and an unplugged phone, he smirked and left. "Probably a prank," he muttered as he walked away. I lie awake, thumb hovering over the phone. On the 8th night, at 3:16 a.m., the phone rings again. This time, no static. I answer and hear the whisper, "Open the door." My breath catches. My body stiffens as the bedroom door creaks open on its own. I throw on my coat and dash into the rain. The street outside is empty, lit by wavering street lamps. My breath forms clouds in the cold air. Thunder rumbles low in the distance. I whisper, "Who are you?" But only the wind answers. Then, ahead, I see him, a pale young man hunched at the curb, face hidden by his hood. He clutches a small music box to his chest, the very one for my grandma, cracked and weathered. He looks up slowly, eyes hollow and distant. "James?" I whisper his name, barely louder than the rain. He does not respond. He tries to speak, but only a voice like distant radio static emerges. I stagger backward as a chorus of whispers envelops me. "We see you." Streetlights flare and dim in rapid cadence. Rain lashes my face, blurring the scene. James's figure wavers like a reflection on water. He lifts the music box toward me. From it plays the lullaby, over and over. Tears stream down his face. He is completely drenched, as if he had been out in this storm for hours. Suddenly I remember. Grandma often spoke of James. He was her first love, lost in an accident years ago. She always believed he'd find a way back. He opens his mouth to say something, but a final whisper comes. "Thank you." The lullaby in the box slows and stops. In the distance, one last thunderclap shakes the street. James steps backward into the mist and fades, leaving only wet footprints on the pavement. I press the music box to my heart, feeling its cold wood against my palm. The silence that follows is overwhelming. When the sun breaks, I'm standing alone on the empty street. My phone still reads 3:16 a.m., exactly 12 hours ago. The humming of morning seems strangely peaceful. The calls have stopped. I realize this isn't over. Not quite. I cup the music box in my hands and whisper into the dawn, "We remember you." The static secrets have found peace at last, and I carry their echoes with me. The night has changed me, and a part of it will stay with me always. As I walk home through the dawn-lit streets, I glance back once. The alley is empty, but I am not the same woman who answered that first call. A part of last night stays with me forever,